I'm Jean Van Hollebeke, and I've been going on these tours for several years. I always really enjoy it.
Great. And why have you been having fun on the Historic Everett Home Tour?
Because it's a good way for history to come to life. Instead of just reading about something in a book or seeing two-dimensional photographs, you can walk through where people lived and where countless stories unfolded, and you can imagine what life was like. Or like with this house, I think it's more like how the town was built, and the fact that we have this socio-economic structure to the town. It reminds me of a Monopoly board. So you come up to this end and it's like boardwalk, you know, these are the mill owners and the people who started the businesses, and then you go down a little further over to Hoyt. Those are the managers, the general managers with their mansions that are smaller. And then I live in the house of someone who I'm sure was a mill worker. So I'm down between pine and cedar, and I love my house, and I love trying to learn as much as I can about the history of the neighborhood and being part of this community. But this is part of it.
Great. And what do you find most interesting about the Hartley Mansion itself?
Well, reading the biography as you just come in the door and you read the biography of the owner of the house, and you see that his life was extraordinary at every phase, and that he really just went for it when he wanted to do something. And everything that he did succeeded. I think the thing that I like the very most about him is that opening up, going and doing logging, he did every single job that was required, so he really knew what it was like. So he was like a manager of the people. He understood them, so that makes me feel better. That he didn't exploit them, he worked with them, and he wasn't afraid to do the hard work. I think seeing the pictures downstairs in the old living room is just fascinating to me. To see the family sitting on the steps, to see the mill itself, and then looking at the architecture of the house and thinking that, you know, this was modern. Look at the bathrooms and think this is luxury, and of course I love all the architectural details, because people really cared when they were building, and they created works of art, and that's what I like to see.
Very true. And why do you think historic preservation is important to the local community?
That's a hard one. I think it's the way for everybody to understand and honor the history that came before them. So, you know, my son grew up in a house that's 90 years old, and he has more appreciation for the history going on around them. I remember all of the kids gathering in our house and deciding what they were going to do for their culminating exhibition. And somebody decided to do the Everett Massacre. And it's like, we want to know. We want to know what happened. We want to know why it happened. And would they think about that if they lived in a suburb, in a house that looked identical to every other house around it? I don't think so. I choose to live in this area because if I go for a walk, every single house entertains me as I'm going along my walk, and they're all different. And I just think about all of the stories in those houses too.
Well, you are very good interviewing.
Really? Oh, I love old houses.
Anything you'd like to add about yourself and your own involvement in the community?
I moved here 9 years ago, and I had in mind the kind of house that I wanted to live in, but not the town. And then I just went to a real estate agent and said, I want a house, and I want an old house, and this is how much I can afford. And he said, you're moving to North Everett. So I decided that when we moved here, we were just going to jump in with both feet. And having a child going through the school system was wonderful. My son was involved in Arts and Science Middle School, which was a program over at North Middle. It was a really incredible program, the best of its kind, to have kids doing hands-on work to really learn in a deep way. And then they went all through high school together. It's a very tight-knit community, and I do the Everett Film Festival every year with a group of people that screens films together, and it's a unique place, and I'm really excited to be part of it.